Welcome to your after school special. My name is Lisa Davies, and I am a technology integration planning and support consultant with your TIPS team. And your TIPS team at tips.epsb.ca. On our website, you will find all the essential resources that you are going to need for this time that we are in right now with emergency remote teaching. As well, you'll find additional resources for distance and online learning, our online professional learning sessions where you can come and join us as we learn about things together. And up here, I just want to point out, we also have after school specials. So our other after school specials, if you've got 5 to 10 minutes, then you too can learn all about the different things that you can use with technology in your own time and in your own space. But today we are going to be working on getting started with Google Classroom. And this is going to be a beginning tutorial starting from the very scratch of getting your own Google Classroom. So what we're going to do is start off with, where do you find Google Classroom? You can find it on Connect in your district applications, or if you're logged into Chrome, you can go to your 9 little dots or your waffle and click on Google Classroom there. You'll note that when I open my Google Classroom, my Google Classrooms will pop up in tile format. I have quite a few Google Classrooms. You may not have any, or maybe only have 1 or 2. If you would like to see them in a vertical linear fashion, you can just click on the 3 lines beside, and you'll see first all the classes that you are a teacher in. And then second, you'll see all the ones that you are a student in. So let's get started with our first classroom. You're going to go to the plus sign and you have 2 options: join a class as a student or create a class. Note that students can only join classes, they cannot create them. When you create your Google Classroom, it is required for you to have a class name. So I'm going to call this Google Classroom Test 1. Now, note if you're a junior high school teacher, you may want to put in a section, period 1, period 2, a subject if you choose, or a room. We're going to create and let Google do all that work in the background for us. And as it creates a new classroom, the first thing you'll notice is it decides, hey, you've created it's called it Classroom Test 1. I think you're going to like this theme. And maybe you do. You can upload a photo, or you can choose a different theme if you wish. If this is a math and science classroom, perhaps I prefer to have a science theme, and I can shift that. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is your stream. There are 4 pages on Google Classroom: Stream, Classwork, People, and Grades. We'll go through one by one. Your stream is similar to your Facebook comments, your Twitter comments, or comments on a blog post. It goes down in a straight line, and this is where you can communicate with your class. So you can create and schedule announcements, or you can respond to student posts. So we're going to share something with our class. We're going to go, hey, let's type it in here. Hey, how are you? Question mark. Now you'll see right here, Google says, okay, this is for Google Classroom Test 1, but it also gives me the opportunity to schedule the same announcement in more than one classroom. So I'm going to undo that right now. And then you'll see over here, it says all students. At the moment, I don't have any students in this classroom, but if I had students, there would be a long list of students. So I could schedule some announcements for only certain students. And I can differentiate from the get-go between my students. Right now, of course, I'll be all students because I don't have any other students in here. And then here I have the opportunity to add. I can add a Google Drive file. I can add a web link, a PDF file, or a YouTube video. Hey, I would like you to watch this video before tomorrow's class. Over here, I can post this immediately. As soon as I post it, students will see it in their stream. Or when you see that little down arrow over here, I could schedule this. Here I am working on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I want to schedule it for Monday, so I could schedule it for next Monday at 8, or I can change the time 9, 10. And the stream then, if I do it this way, the stream comes up here and students will not see this in saved announcements. So I can click on that announcement at any time. And now I can schedule it for right now and say, okay, I'm going to put it in there, or I can say, okay, I'm now going to just go back in there. And now I would like to not schedule it, but I'm going to not schedule it at all. So I'm going to get rid of it. There we go. And we'll trash that. Delete the schedule announcement. So let's do that again, only this time I'm going to say, hey, how are you? And I am going to post it. When I post it, you'll see a notice saying add class comment. I can add a comment. Over on the 3 little dots over here, I can move to the top. It's already at the top, so that's grayed out. I can edit it. I can delete it, or I can copy a link to it and send just a link to that if I'd like. So note that Google always allows you to fix up your stream. If you think you've made a mistake, you can always go in and edit it. Now, students can also go on this stream and post YouTube videos, PDFs, links, and chat with each other. So this is up to you how you would like this to look. You have the opportunity to change what it looks like in your settings. When you click over here on settings, you'll see I can always change my class name, but down here in general on the stream, it automatically comes up with students can post and comment. Depending on the age and the digital citizenship skills of your students, you may choose to leave that, or you may choose to have students can only comment. They can't post videos, they can't post work or links, but they can comment on each other's and have a conversation that way. Or you may choose to start with only teachers can post or comment. That leaves commenting just up to you. So right now we are just going to save that, and we are going to change the stream so that no one else can comment except for myself. So I'm the only one who can put things in there. Let's go to the workhorse of Google Classroom, which is your classwork page. Please note that Google has already created a Google Calendar for you of this classroom and a class drive folder. When I zip that open, that classroom folder, you will see that Google has created a major folder called Classroom, and within that is a subfolder called Google Classroom Test 1. All of your students' work will show up in this folder. Easy to find, no more trying to figure out who named it, where did it go, what folder is it in. It will be under Google Classroom Test 1, whatever you've named it, under your Classroom folder. So if I click on my Classroom folder, you'll see that these are all of my Google Classrooms in here. And if I open up one of them, my test class Tapascan, then you are going to see my templates. Here are my assignments that I've given them, and I can open this up and I can look at all of my students' assignments in there. So Google has created that Drive folder for you already. Well, let's go into Create. The first thing you're going to want to create are topics. So when I click on topic, if you think about Google Classroom as your giant teacher binder, topics are your dividers. So perhaps you would like to just go, okay, I am going to call this language arts or language. Oh, let's edit that. No, I can always edit it because I've got my 3 little darts. So I'm going to go over here and go language arts. Okay. I'm also going to create maybe science, or perhaps you are a junior high teacher and you've already labeled this science and you're going to call this unit 2 space. Maybe that's your unit. I'm going to just put in another one. You may choose to call it just Monday. Here's your work for Monday. Once my topics are created, I can move them around. So I can shift my topics just by grabbing them and dragging them. And then note they've come up on the side here. An organizational tip for you and your students is if I click on Monday, it will only open anything under Monday, only open things under space. So it's easier for students to see what it looks like. So now I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to create my first assignment. In assignment, I'm going to put my title, and that of course is needed before you can do anything. I'm going to do brainstorm, and I'm going to go here are my instructions, la 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 la. And then Google gives me the opportunity to create docs, slides, sheets, drawing, or forms. And if I click on that one, then Google will get me a Google Doc, an empty Google Doc. It'll open it up for me, and I can go away and start creating my first assignment. However, I'm a little more organized than that for myself. I'm not quite that off the cuff. So I'm going to delete that, and instead I'm going to add. Note again, I can add a drive, a link to a website, a file from my computer, or a YouTube video. But right now I'm going to add from Google Drive. And what I am looking for is I am looking for brainstorm. So it'll pop up with your recents, but I'm going to search brainstorm, and it's going to search for everything with brainstorm. Now, again, I can always click on my advanced search options, and maybe I'm looking for a presentation, but no, right now I am looking for just a document about brainstorm, and here it is, only 1U. I am going to add that. Now here you'll see that students can view the file. This means they can't interact with this file at all. All they can do is have a look at it. But I have options. Students can edit file means all of my students are going to be in this file at once working on it. Or I can go make a copy for each student. Now, when I click make a copy for each student, Google will create a copy of this document for every student in my class, and it will title it with their name. So the document will be titled John Doe Brainstorm, only 1Me. Susie Summer Brainstorm, only 1Me, making it very, very easy for you to find them and look at their work. So your options, if you want them to all edit the file, and in this one, I'm going to get them to all edit the file. Now, over here, you'll see, again, I can choose to post this into more than one classroom, or I can choose to post it in only this classroom. So I'll take that off. And again, I have that opportunity to differentiate. Perhaps I have one of these that is for my ELL students. Perhaps the language is simpler. It's got more pictures in it for them. I can put this one out. Students can edit file and only select those students who require that differentiation, and then do a different one for other students. So again, I can differentiate very quickly here. I can create points. This could be worth 100 points as Google's automatic. I'm going to do this ungraded because we're just brainstorming. And then due date. Please note, if you put in a due date, that will go into School Zone. Anything with a due date is automatically transferred into School Zone under the page where parents can see it. So if you don't want it in School Zone, please don't put a due date. But here I can put this assignment is due April 22nd at whatever time. I'm not going to put a due date because I don't want this in School Zone. And then here I can put this topic. I've already got language arts. If it's under a topic I don't have, I could create a topic, but instead I'm going to put it under language arts. I can also put in a rubric. I can reuse rubrics once I've created them, and very simply, I can create a rubric here with a criterion, points, level, and let me just hide that screencastify, and I can add more criterion. So I'm going to close out of that because I do not want to save those changes. I'm not going to put a rubric in. Originality reports, you can only use 3 times in the life of a classroom. And what that does is it matches the students' answers against Google. So it is an opportunity to make sure that students haven't plagiarized from Google, but you want to be careful how often you use that. So we have our student. Everybody's going to go into one file and edit. I can assign this, and when I assign it, it automatically will come up for students. Now, if I scheduled it or saved it as a draft, it would come up gray where I could see it, but students could not. So again, I can over here, I can always go back and edit. I can delete the assignment, copy the link. I can move it up or down. If I put it in the wrong one by mistake, I can take it and throw it into space. So now you'll see, I can see the assignment. And right now it says 0 turned in, 0 assigned because I have no students. If I had this particular assignment assigned to 30 students, you would see 30 assigned. And then I can also view the assignment here, and I would see all of the students' work there. So I'm going to go back into our classwork page, and we can create a different assignment now. And in this one, we are going to call Eat That Frog. And again, I can put my instructions in here. I can add a Google Drive link, and we'll just type in eat. Oops, let's go here. Eat that. And it should prop up frog. Because again, I already have the slide decks ready to go. So as we go in here, Eat That Frog, here we are. And now we have got Eat That Frog. This one I'm going to make worth 10 points. And I am going to create a copy for each student. I am not going to give it a due date. And I am going to put it under language arts. And now I can say this one, I'm not ready to go out yet, but I am going to have this assignment come out on Wednesday morning, and I can schedule it. So you'll see here how this is gray as opposed to purple. Students will not see that until it comes out as assigned. Now, a quiz assignment creates a quiz using Google Forms. So we're going to call this Rocks and Minerals. Okay, and again, instructions if you choose to do that. Now, Google automatically assumes I want to create a blank quiz. You'll see locked mode on Chromebooks. This is not working at this point in time. When we are in schools, you can click that on. And once you've put that on, students are not allowed to go to any external websites once they're in EPSB schools. We're going to turn that off right now. And actually, I am not going to create the form from scratch because, well, you guessed it, I already have one ready to go. So right here now, I'm going to type in Rocks and Minerals and look for my Rocks and Minerals quiz. And it was this one right here. So I'm going to add that in. And now, again, I can choose to do this for this class or others, all students, or perhaps I have also differentiated my assessment. Points 100, how many points is this quiz worth? Is it worth 15? Is it worth 20? Again, I'm not putting a due date in because I do not want this in to show up in School Zone. And I'm going to put it under, oh dear, I'm going to create a topic and I'm going to call it Science. And I could even call it Science, Rocks, and Minerals. Okay. And again, choices to schedule it, save a draft, or assign it. Now, in a quiz assignment, it's a little bit different because when you view the assignment, you really can't see everybody's work. But what it would be is that when you are in the quiz itself, you open up the quiz and you'll see, because it's my quiz, I have that little pencil edited. And then I can go over and mark it under responses. And I don't have any responses because this is not a quiz that I've actually used with students. So there is my Rocks and Minerals quiz assignment. Now, note as well that this has come out with the assignment logo. So these are assignment logos. Now I'm going to ask a question. And my question is going to be, what are the 3 most important things to know about dragons? And I'm making this a short answer. I could make this a multiple choice if I was going to ask a specific question. This could be something where you're doing a dipstick to see what they understand. But I'm going to make this a short answer. And in my instructions, I'm going to say, please watch the following video and la, 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 la. And now I'm going to add a YouTube video. On this YouTube video, if I already know the URL, I can put it in here. Or if I'm going to search, and I know the one that I usually use, I know what it looks like. So I'm just going to search. Do know that you want to preview all of videos before they go in. This 4-minute video is the one that I usually use. So I am going to add this video. Now you can see that this doesn't come up with make a copy or all students view file because they're just going to be watching this video. Again, differentiation here. I'm going to make the points out of this. I'm going to make this worth 3 because I've asked them the 3 most important things to know about dragons. And I'm going to put this under language arts. Here I have the opportunity for students to reply to each other or students to edit their answer, to change their answer after maybe they look at other people's answers to the question. So I can click or unclick those. Again, schedule, save draft, or ask. Now, when I ask this question, you'll see it's under language arts and it has now got a different icon. So questions are really good for starting conversations, doing a pre-dip of background knowledge before you start a unit, checking for things throughout a unit. We also have something called material. In material, we are going to call this read and write. Material, you'll see over here. Again, I can create the topic and I will put this under language arts, or you know what, maybe I'm going to create a topic and call this resources. And there are no points because this is just something that students are going to interact with. This could be vocabulary lists that you want them to study. It could be information for them to give them some idea of what you're going to be looking at. And again, I can create, or I'm going to add a file. I'm working on a Chromebook, so I don't have my desktop show up like you would have. And I know that this is a PDF. So I'm going to search in my PDFs and I am going to find my file here and open it up and upload it. Now I'm going to post it and you'll see I now have a new topic. Resources popped up there. The icon is material and here is the PDF and students can just open that and look at how to use read and write, a quick reference guide. Now, our last thing is reuse post. And again, here's where Google Classroom shows its power. Often, when you have your teacher binder, you reuse the same assignment over and over again. Sometimes people will do what they call a container classroom or a keeper classroom. And this is a classroom that you never share with students. It is only for yourself. And in this classroom, you can upload all of your assignments. And Google's being just a little bit slow for me, so I'm going to try that one more time. Let's reuse post. And here we go. So here we have a keeper classroom. This is a keeper classroom that Nick Riemann lets me share with him for Science 9. And as I scroll down here, I can see the assignments. And I'm going, oh, yeah, it's time for us to use this assignment right here. And I'm going to reuse it. And look, Google Classroom will create new copies of all attachments for me. I don't need to rewrite it. I don't need to find that clean copy. All I need to do is click on reuse. When I click on reuse, Google does all of its magic in the background. And now you'll see it pops up for me. Now here, it comes up ready for me to edit if necessary. So I can change the title. I can change the instructions. I could even go into the form if I need to and adapt it. And it says ungraded. So this was a form that we had just to have background knowledge, but I could change it to graded. Notice too that the topic gets pulled in. So in the Keeper Classroom, this one is called Grade 9 Assessments. I don't want to call it that. I want to put it under Unit 2 Space. And now I'm going to assign this, and it will pop up under Unit 2 Space, ready to go for students. So these are all the ways that you can create. Once again, a quick reminder that if this gets a little bit too long, you can simply go here and see resources, here and see the science, here and see what's due Monday. We didn't put anything in there, here space, and that makes life easier for you. Under the People tab, you will see teachers and students. You can add and invite other teachers to co-teach with you. And when you click that, you will be able to invite them. Co-teachers can do everything you can do except delete a class. Or you can also invite students. If you have in your school zone, you have a class list, then you can start typing in period 3 and it will pull up all of your period 3 students, or you could type them in student by student. Another way to get students in there is for them to have the class code. You'll find that underneath your settings, and right here is your class code. Now, you can display that nice and large. Note that anybody in Edmonton Public Schools who has this code can join your class. So you can use the People tab to make sure that just the people that are supposed to be in your class are in your class. You can copy that if you need to copy it and paste it into an email. You can reset it if you need to reset to a different code, and you'll see now my class code is reset. Or once all your students are in, you can disable that code because you've got everybody in and no one else needs to go in right now. So that's how you can invite students. Please note as well that Google Classroom now integrates with Google Meet, and you can generate a Meet link straight from this classroom. You can make it visible to students or not visible. If you make that visible to students, I will click Save. And then when we go into our Google Classroom, you will see right here the Google Meet link. And you'll note the class code has now been disabled. Our Grades tab is our last tab to look at. And because I have no students in this classroom, I cannot really walk you through the Grades tab. So I'm going to go into a different classroom and we'll look at the Grades tab. Let's have a look at one that we created up here. This one. So here I had just a few students in this, and you'll see across up here is that all of my classwork from here, here's my classwork, comes up in my grading folder. My space, my name the 3 most important, my rocks and minerals, and my eat that frog. So here I can delete this assignment, or I can mark this assignment. So I can mark the assignment here and say, okay, here's 55 out of 100. And you'll see that it says draft. It will say draft until I return the assignment to the student. And when I go here, it says return, or I can view it. So let's have a look at this Eat That Frog. here's my opportunity to look and see what this student has done here. And this is actually a teacher. Here, I can change the grade. I can add a private comment. I can say, try to find 2 more items. When I do this, it will send an email to the student with a private comment that no one else can see. If I return it, it returns it to that student with the mark in. Then I can just click forward. I'm going to delete. Yeah, that's okay. I don't want to save that comment. And I can see the next person in it. So I can go through and see that. You'll note that it has popped up in a new tab, the assignments from here. So here is where I can use this as a method of recording marks. Note that the only official grade book in Edmonton Public Schools is Gradebook and progress reports. But this could be like your piece of paper in your teacher binder, or that Google Sheet or that Google Doc where you store grades. So that is your introduction to Google Classroom, from the stream to the classwork to the people to the grades. We'll be doing an advanced session a little later on, but for now, this should get you started. Thank you for joining us in our after school special.